Office safety. Yeah, that sounds super boring. But I've had a few chats with ladies who work late at night and have to walk out in the dark and have people banging on the windows at night. So we're going to talk a little bit today about office safety, and there'll be some things I think you'll be surprised to hear. So welcome to the Safe Realty podcast with me, your host, Shannon Cutler. I'm on a mission to educate my listeners so they don't become the next true crime news headline. As a former police officer with 18 years of investigative experience and now a real estate agent, I guide agents on how to handle their own security in vulnerable situations and, more importantly, develop best safe business practices. If you enjoy learning new tools to improve your safety, please follow this podcast, review it, and even more importantly, share. Play it at your next office meeting. We are safe at the office, but I have had a question about a few things, about people parking in random locations and having to find their car at night, about working in the office alone, about meeting clients alone at the office, and about having valuables stolen. So those are the few topics we're going to cover on today's episode. I'm so glad you're here. This is continuing to be Realtor Safety Month. We're still in September. And I just came back actually from doing teaching a course in the Okanagan in British Columbia to a group of 70 agents in the interior real estate board. They come from all over the Okanagan area in interior part of the province, and it was their Pro D Day week, so they offered this course to the agents, and I got such great feedback. I did hear from one person that though they don't mind swearing, they felt I swear too much, even though I don't really think I swear to, and I did disclaim that I would swear. But anyways, I will keep that in mind for next time. And the rest of the feedback was extremely positive. I did add a few things to the course because it's a little dated, but one of the things that people did want to talk about is this office safety, because they're finding they're in the office alone on the weekends when things are not open, or now that we're getting darker earlier, they're at the office in the dark writing offers and they're on their own, or they're in kind of a sketchy neighborhood and they have to get out to their cars. So we're going to talk about that and try and make everybody feel a little more comfortable. Number one we'll do is we'll start talking about parking your car. I know this seems silly, but I mean, even on my travels last week on the way up to the Okanagan, I went to IKEA, and if anybody's been to an IKEA or a large store like that with huge parking, if you don't remember where your car is parked, you're stuck with pushing your alarm button to try and find it. So it just reminded me of location, and it's important to, when you park, if you're parking in if you park in the same place every day, every week, months and months on end, your car, you'll know where everything is. But if you're having to find your office and you're in a bigger city and every day is a new adventure in the maze of parking and trying to find a great place to park, it doesn't hurt to put yourself a little reminder in your phone to remind yourself of where you parked. And if you're at my age, which is over 40, I might dare say over 45, sometimes the memory slips, or you're doing 10 things on the way into the office and you just don't really pay attention. So often people are most concerned with leaving at night. So let's talk about that. When we leave the office at night and your car is parked underground, or parked far away, or even in a dark lot that's not maybe monitored, there's a couple things we can do. The basics are, the basic self-defense stuff. Head up, head on a swivel, pay attention to your surroundings, and have your keys ready in your hand if that's the way you need to get into your car. My car opens when I get to it and touch it, but I've noticed today when I walk my dog, my battery is nearly dead. It must be in my fob. So when I got there and tried to open the door, it wouldn't open. I had to physically take my keys out. So if I don't know for sure that it's ready to go, I should have my keys in my hand. So when I approach my car, it's a one click. It lights the interior up and I can climb into a bright interior. So have your keys ready. as you approach your vehicle, click it open as you're getting there. It'll light up inside. Have a quick look in your vehicle, and then get in and lock the doors. You can also have a security company walk you to your car, depending on the type of place, the city you work in. Do you have footprint security wandering around? Is there a security in the strip mall where your office is? If so, it doesn't hurt to flag somebody down or give somebody a call. You could ask a coworker if you're not alone at the office still. Or if you're in an office building, maybe you call somebody in the office nearby, or go next door to the coffee shop that may still be open, or a gym, and just say, hey, can you watch out the window as I get into my car? I go to this one place to dance at night, and there's always tons of kind of active street people that are there's often the police are there. There's a pawn shop next door, and us as a group, we take turns keeping an eye out for each other as we get out to our cars, and that is helpful too. Park under lights if you have that option, because I keep talking about this, bad guys don't like to be lit up. They like the cover of darkness, and they like somewhere quiet that they can hide. So parking under a street light, a parking light in a parkade or a parking lot nearby, like in a soccer field, if you're parking in a soccer field or a field, they often have night lights. Park in a location that's visible to other people, that's not hidden from the public, like behind a dumpster or something. Let's keep ourselves visible. If you are concerned, maybe you're in a sketchy area. Maybe it's not even that you're leaving the office, but you're leaving a showing or meeting a client and you're having to do the same thing. This is basic self-defense stuff, but you can, as you're leaving, I would stop and take a look around, look left, look right, look up, look down, scan your environment just before you exit the building or the office that you're leaving, and until you feel safe. Now, if you're concerned because maybe you saw some sketchy people hanging around or there's been problems in that area, turn your car alarm on. Just hit the alarm button. Who cares if it bugs somebody for a few seconds? They'll all get over it. Hit the alarm button. That will draw attention. Number one, people will look. People are looking. Bad guys don't like that. You're safer to walk to your vehicle. Or it will potentially allow somebody who's lurking around to get a bit startled by that and wander away, because again, they don't want attention. So turn your car alarm, let it go for 10, 20 seconds, as long as you feel you need to, and do your scan, bring attention to the situation, and then go to your vehicle in the same way we talked about. One thing I did say to one of the ladies at one of this office in Nanaimo is she's often the last one, especially in the winter when it's dark. She's often the last one left in the office, and she's one of the admin staff. And she says she parks at the very end of the parking lot when she gets there in the morning to be nice, so agents can park their cars closer, their clients can park closer. So now she's coming out in the dark and the snow and the rain, and she has to walk all the way to the parking lot or around the building. So my suggestion to her is that when there are people still in the building, if it's dark, ask somebody to join you, come with you as you go to your vehicle, and move it to the front of the building, to right outside the doors. Either park right outside the doors, if that's possible and not impeding traffic, or park in a location that is a lot closer and lit up, so you don't have to make this trek at night. Nobody in your office is going to get mad, and if they do, that's the problem, and that's a whole other story. And if there's no one to walk you to your car, it's getting dark at 4:30, at 4 o'clock, let's go out, grab the car, drive it around to a better location, an easier access for you. And then when you leave in a couple hours in the dark, you can do the things we talked about. You can scan before you exit. You can turn your alarm on to see if anybody's around, and then you can walk to your vehicle safely. I think that will be really helpful in making you feel comfortable. And again, having your hands free, or as free as you can, so you're not fumbling and digging. Be prepared as you leave, so that the only thing actually in your hand, you might have bags and things hanging onto things, but you're not fumbling looking for your keys in the dark Mary Poppins purse like I have in the dark, right? We're not doing that. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about alone working in the office. So I have a special offer, a little discount to offer my listeners at InvisiWare. It's 10% off your purchase, which can add up when it's over $100. And you have to go to invisaWare.kckb.st/Safe Realty. So your discount code is /Safe Realty, and they will offer you 10% off your purchase. And you can share that link. You can share that discount with everybody. I will also link that discount in the show notes. If you want to click right from the show notes into InvisiWare, you'll get a flashy little congratulations. I sent you 10% off your purchase, and it will allow you to get this wearable safety technology that much easier. I've experienced where I've been in the office in the evening or on a weekend when maybe my office isn't open and our office is alarmed. So I would come in, turn the alarm off, enter, lock the door behind me, and then turn the alarm back onto stay mode so that while I'm there working, if anybody was to come in, I would be notified via the alarm. And it would typically only be somebody who has a key because I had locked the door behind me. So I recommend if you're in the office working alone, make sure all the doors and all the exits are locked. There's nothing wrong with leaving lots of lights on, random lights, or have the whole place lit up. If somebody's walking by and looking in the window and you see them looking at you, you can pretend to pretend to have a conversation with somebody down the hall. So, somebody's looking in, maybe they're just looking at the window listings. Maybe they're, somebody that's more nefarious walking by, they're looking in the window. They're like, oh, there's a pretty agent working alone. You could pretend to call out to somebody like, yeah, hey, Steven, I'll bring you that file in 5 minutes, or could you grab me a coffee, and like yell as in you're talking, pretend you're talking to somebody and having a conversation with somebody. You can pick up the phone and make a call to, your partner or another agent or somebody that is nearby that potentially could come do a little drive-by for you. And if it's really quite scary, like if that person was actually standing around outside the office, you maybe try to talk to them through the door and say, sorry, we're not open. I can't open the door. If they continue to stand there, there's nothing wrong with giving the police a call to come by and keep the peace and help you get to your car, or to see if there's a security company nearby, and they'll take a stop by. And if they won't, they're not, well, then you just make a complaint, but they will. That's part of their job. Putting on the TV or music might give you some comfort. It will also give the illusion to others that there are potentially other people in the building. And, there's nothing wrong with leaving that alarm on. I had worked a couple times at night and I didn't feel comfortable being in my office, which was kind of in a back corner down a hallway. So I would often sit at the front desk. It would be the desk that anybody would walk into the building would be the first thing they would see. But I felt better that way because I was up front and the only way in was through the front door. And there was one other door on the side, but I could see it. The other door was locked and alarmed. So I just put myself in a position where I was sitting in a place a little bit more comfortable. There is also the odd occasion where we meet clients in the evening because for whatever reason, real estate's done half the time in the evening, which is super annoying to me. Or on the weekend when the office may not have any other staff or other agents in it. Although, like most agents, we always seem to be working. So if you're meeting a client alone at the office, when the office is empty, we can follow the same rules that we talked about in previous episodes for showings or open houses. And you can do all the things that we've talked about as far as vetting to ensure that you know who you're meeting before you're meeting. Ask a colleague or a friend to join. if it's an office and where you have an opportunity to put a radio or a TV on in another part of the office that makes it sound like people are talking or whatever, you can say, oh, there's another agent in here. I apologize. They like music or they like TV on when they're working. I apologize, but they'll give us privacy, and you can just say that there's somebody else in the building, even if there isn't. You can ask your client, just say, give you a minute. You have to go talk to the other agent that's working to make sure everything is, make sure that they know you have a client coming in so they don't say anything rude or inappropriate or barge in on your meeting. Even again, if there's nobody else in the building, you can just let your client think that there's somebody there. It does give you some comfort, and it makes them feel like they're going to be potentially interrupted or seen. And bad guys, if they were bad, they wouldn't like that. Or alternatively, like we've talked about in the showing situation, is you can say, I'm so sorry, but another agent is going to be showing up here with their clients within the next little while. Could be any time. They'll find another place. We'll have privacy, but just so you know, if you hear somebody else come in, that's what it is. Again, if they get up and leave in a few minutes, or don't follow through with what the meeting is intended for, they probably had a nefarious reason for being there. And is it necessary? I meet clients at my office all the time when it was closed on the weekends, but I was comfortable with the people, or we would sit right in the big office that looked out onto the street that everybody going by could see. If it was dark, the lights would be on. There'd never be anything secret. I would tell my husband or another colleague where I was. So yeah, that might make you feel a little more comfortable if you're in the office working alone or meeting clients alone. And regardless of who's coming or nobody's coming, this is true even at home. Keep your valuables in a safe location, tucked under a desk or locked in a drawer. That's really ideal. Don't ever have anything sitting right inside by an exit door. That could be a quick grab and run. I mean, there was this one guy a few years ago when I was still policing, and he was going around in the middle of the afternoon in the summer to a nice residential community or nice residential subdivision. He would walk up to the front door and he would knock. And if somebody answered, he would typically just say, oh, I'm looking for so-and-so. Oh, wrong house. And he would move on. But if nobody answered, he would open the front door and he would grab whatever was there. And oftentimes there were purses and keys. He did steal a car one time, and there were purses and keys sitting right by the door, because you come in the house, you drop your purse, drop your keys, drop your wallet, your phone, your laptop, whatever it is that you came in with. So don't leave your things right inside. It's really, it goes for anything. Like if you have to park your car somewhere, don't leave your laptop or your Christmas gifts or bottles of wine or whatever sitting on your seat that people can come in and grab. But this is a really important one, because say you have people coming in and out of an office all day long. This is just even during the day, all day long. They come in, it's busy, they're wandering around, using the bathroom, poking their head in here. If it's a public office, you might never know who's coming in, and they could even pretend to be. I mean, people are tricky. Bad guys are tricky, and they could come in and they just walk by the lunchroom or walk by, Kim's office, and they see this big purse hanging right on the door. Kim's not in there. They grab the purse, keep walking, go right out another exit, and they have the whole purse in their hand. So take your valuables, tuck them under your desk in a drawer, somewhere that is really not accessible for others to grab or steal. And not all your colleagues' clients are decent people, and vice versa. So let's help protect each other's stuff by doing that. Even at home, don't leave your stuff by the door, and don't leave your purse and your laptop and all that stuff at easy access. A couple things before we wrap up today's episode. On other episodes, we've talked about safety apps and technology. You can always enable those in these situations. If you have a strange client coming in, or somebody it's new, or it's a weird time, or you're not getting the same feelings of comfort that you do from people that you can use those safety apps and enact one of those enable one of those timers. And the timers, again, they say you sit down with the client, you put a 5-minute timer on, and in 5 minutes, you don't turn the timer off, the safety timer, the app dispatch emergency center will be activated and they will start calling you. And if you don't turn off and notify them that you're safe, turn off the safety timer, then the police will be called and you'll get emergency services at your door. So I will link to the safety apps episode in the show notes. It was only a couple episodes ago, but that's a great one to look at for these types of timers. It's like Life 360, eForce, a few ones like that. Again, trust your instincts. If the person coming in is not somebody that you really think you want to meet alone, don't meet them alone. If they actually want to do business with you, they'll wait for you to have an appropriate time office meeting when it's open, or you can just say you're unavailable. Your office doesn't allow evening meetings. You're welcome to meet me at 9 a.m. tomorrow when the office is full of people. And if they aren't going to show up, they're bullshit. They're not real clients. Always keep your phone charged and close by within your reach, because that is your, that's your safety to call 911 if you need it, or even just a colleague or a partner to come by. And, make sure that your office, if it's your personal office or your brokerage's office, or we're talking anybody working in any office, having a security system, it's so cheap to have security systems up, a camera, and alarm panels. Have them in plain view and available so that people, when they come in, they see, oh, this place is under surveillance. On the door, you have the little sticker that say this is monitored. Above the door, you have your security camera. Most brokerages probably have some sort of security. And if not, and it's your own private office, there's nothing wrong with buying equipment that looks real but isn't, that makes it appear to have a security system that will help deter it. A sign that everything is audio video recorded, or video recorded, maybe not audio because there's private conversations. The signage does help deter, and having a security company, local security company, do regular patrols will help deter. That's also helpful. And these are business write-offs. Depending on the type of business you run, these are potentially a write-off that you can use that will help keep you safe. If you have a small team office that you pay for, that can be really expensive. So what's another, a couple $100 or $1,000 to put a security system in to protect yourselves and your property? It's not worth, it's worth it. It's not worth not doing it. So if you have any other suggestions on things that I might have missed or things that you do to keep yourself safer, I would love to hear from you. There's a new function in the podcast app where you can just click send us a text. So send me a text and tell me what you think of the show. Tell me your hot office tip. I do not know everything, and I am constantly learning something from people when they come up with their tips on keeping themselves safe. So before we recap, I would love to hear from you. All the links that you need are below in the show notes. And leaving a rating and review is great, but even more importantly, sharing this episode with others in your office, other agents, other people who work alone in an office. It doesn't have to be a real estate agent. It can be anybody. I mean, I go to a massage therapist and, you have complete strangers coming in and taking their clothes off on your table. And if they're nefarious, you're in a small office by yourself with no one knowing who you are. So, it doesn't have to be real estate. Anybody working in an office, this is something that could potentially help them. So a little recap of today's episode. We talked about parking safely under lights, using your car alarm, and acting people in your neighborhood, in your office, to help you stay safe. Number 2, we talked about working alone in the office and how we can give the appearance that we're not alone, or that this is an office in which you don't want to mess with anybody in this office. We also talked about how to protect our valuables and keep ourselves safe when meeting clients when the office is closed or potentially in the evening. Don't forget your safety apps. I'm going to link everything in the show notes, and I will talk to you soon. Be safe, everyone.